Hey again everyone. I had one last item on the docket for today as I'm recording videos, and that was to share with you how I liked the Learn Tarot With Me planner that I reviewed earlier. You may remember I had the printed version here, just the black book with the planning pages and the tarot stickers. So I did actually wind up using this as my main planner for the month of July and wanted to share with you how that went. So hang on for just a second while I rearrange things and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to see if I can make this work with my rinky-dink itty-bitty little tripod here, but this was my July 2016 Learn Tarot With Me planning journal, and you'll notice it is just loose pages. For July, I did download the PDF file that she has available. This is from Etsy, and I will yet again link the shop at the bottom of the video. But so I did download it and printed it out. It was all working fine. Please ignore this what I've done to the edges here. This has to do with a mishap with my dog. Yes, my dog ate my planner, but has nothing to do with the actual PDF. The PDF was fine. And I just used a little clip to hold it all together because I never got around to actually putting it in something that would hold it. This is actually the size that I would use for my Franklin Covey, my classic size Franklin Covey, which is why I decided to try this out, because the pages should be the correct size. Alright, so again, we start out with the monthly pages, and what I've done here, I've put a red line down the side here. And I did this just because my weeks start on Mondays. My work week starts on Monday. The schedule for my job is Monday through Sunday, so I like having a reminder. I did put down some basic stuff to remember for the month, like the days that I was working, and the full moon, new moon. But I didn't do really much otherwise with this. Now, normally the monthly page is something that I use a lot in my Franklin Covey, but I didn't really wind up using this one so much. And you can see up through about the 8th, I was using it to record my daily draw for my cards. However, I fell off the wagon with that fairly quickly, and this is nothing to do with the planner itself. This is something that I know about myself. I am horrible at doing daily card draws. So I wasn't too horribly upset about that because I knew that already. You may note the red and the black. I was using playing cards this month. So all of my drawings were with playing cards. I did have a few notes over here for things to do in the month, but not a whole heck of a lot. Alright, and then we went into the tarot spread for the month. Now, I actually, well, I guess I'll find it at the end. This isn't the best setup for me for this, but I have some notes at the end. I'll make sure I didn't leave anything out. But so I did my spread for the month of July, and for each of the cards, I put down what they were. I put down some keywords. Over here on the side, I noted interesting things like there were a lot of multiples of 3. The majority of the cards were hearts, and also the majority therefore were red. And what does that mean? So here is where the planner allows for information pertaining to this reading, meaning the date, the deck I used, which happened to be Peanuts playing cards at my mom's house, and what the question is. And then here I wrote down my interpretation of all of this information. Okay. From there, we went into the weekly goal planning spreads. And I didn't really do anything for the first week. And my pages don't want to turn. Second week I got more into it. And again, we have the spread itself. I have my week at a glance down at the bottom, some things like notes, to-dos, what I was doing each day, and some more notes about the spread. In this case, she gives you spaces for each of the cards. So you list your goal at the top, and then each of the cards relates to one of these other items that I've written notes about. So your strongest aspect, weakest aspect, helpful resources, outcome, and suggested actions. So I use this as basically a blueprint for how I want to reach my goal for the week, and what things are good, what things I need to watch out for. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was pretty good, and I would like to continue using this weekly goal planning spread. Now the next week is blank again, and then I have one more for the final week. Same layout. Again, I didn't write too much in my week at a glance. I still have my red line to indicate that my work week starts on Monday. And then after that, oh, okay. So I had one more week here, and I had this page stapled to it. And this page is actually my attempt at using the Getting Things Done outline. And I really liked this. This worked out really well for me. So basically I did my brain dump on this side, and then I categorized everything. I put little colored squares around everything and put those categories here so I could see at a glance what I need to do in which category. So for example, the things that require me to be on the computer, the things I have to do at home versus the things I have to go out somewhere else to do, and things I can do on the phone. And then over here I had projects. Where I think this is really going to help me out is projects. I have a lot of projects that wind up not getting done because I don't have an effective way of moving them onto tasks, weekly and daily tasks. So that's what I'm working with right now, and hopefully I'll have more about that later for you. But for the tarot journal itself, again, I have the same goal spread and the information about my reading. So these were each of the weeks individually, and then it goes into my days. What I wound up doing here was, you can see all of these items in green here are my work hours. I had some hideously long work hours. And the nice thing about this, the nice thing about this was, because the hours are not pre-written in here, I was able to skip over hours that I was not actively working. And then at the end of the day, I tally up my hours. I teach English through an online school, so I have to tally up how many hours I actually worked, how many no-shows I had, how many writing corrections I need to do to get paid for those no-shows, and that sort of thing. And then at the end of the month, I have to tally it all up for my invoice. So this was really helpful to me in doing my end of month tally. I did for a while do the daily card draws, and then when I did do them, I put the information about the card here. And this additional space I used pretty much as my daily journal, because I was really missing my daily journal. It's something that I do a lot at home, and I really felt like I needed to write stuff somewhere, so I did use that space for that. And it continues on like that. I did note, for example, up here, this is the new moon, and I noted it here. Also, you may see here, up here I have LD and CD. Well, this is a bad example because it's 2 days, but LD is lunar day. I am trying to keep track of the lunar days. CD is cycle day. For those of you girls who track this, you know what that is. And so I'm actually trying, my attempt with this, and I'm sorry for any guys watching this that this is too much information, but I'm actually curious to see how my cycle meshes with the lunar cycle. I think that would be interesting to note. All right, and then I won't bore you with too much more of this. Here you'll see that there were days that I didn't write anything. I had given up doing the daily draws just because that's how I am, but I was still keeping track of work and a few other things. On days that I did not work, I had, and all of this I did in different colors, as you can see. I used orange for tasks, and I would list out my tasks and events or things to keep track of. And I would move these as I normally do on my to-do list, aka what's very fashionable now, the bullet journal style, but I mean, Franklin Covey was using the same symbols way before the bullet journal. So I tend to use some of the same symbols. Okay. Notes. So basically I just kept on this way. Now, when we get to the end of this planner, and I was really proud of myself for using this the entire month. Babykins! I was babysitting. I was solo sitting for an entire weekend. That was rough. All right. Is this the correct day? Oh, this must have been a notes page. All right, so there's a notes page, and then at the end there's a new moon spread, which you can see that I did not do. There is a full moon spread, which I did do. There was a Lammas spread, which I did not do because I did not celebrate Lammas, although I thought it would be fun to use this spread as kind of a year, what do you call that? Mid-year review spread. How is the remainder of my year going to play out? So that's what I intended to do with this. As you can see, I haven't done it yet, but hopefully I get around to it at some point. And this is a zodiac spread, by the way. And then the last couple of pages were just notes pages. So I'm going to turn the camera back around and go over these notes with you to let you know some things that I liked and didn't like about this journal. All right, so see you in a second. Okay, I'm back, and I think I haven't seen it yet, but I think that jerry-rigged tripod idea sort of worked, so you'll have to let me know if that was any better than my wiggly hold the camera thing. All right, so overall, notes on the Learn Tarot With Me Tarot Planner. I really enjoyed using this planner. I did. It's not necessarily as cute or pretty as I would prefer, but that's okay because there is a lot of, as mentioned in my last review, there's a lot of space here, blank space, that for the creative people out there, you can get really creative with decorating these pages, and I just am not that creative. But I can see the potential, even me as a non-creative, I can see the potential there to make this really nice. And also the stickers. I had mentioned the stickers, but of course I was not using a tarot deck for this month, and I also did not have the stickers with me. So that's something else that would have been really fun to color in. But overall, I really enjoyed this journal. When I get around to putting together my video on what I was trying to use while I was in Cuba, you will see that I massively failed with that. And I was so upset because I am a planner junkie. I need my planner, and I was just falling apart without it. This planner was an excellent, excellent temporary replacement for the one that I normally use. That said, there are some things that I discovered I was not too keen on. And first off was the fact that everything started on Sunday. This is nothing against the design of the planner because the American calendar starts on Sunday. It does, so that is perfectly fine. But for me, it was a little bit irritating just because, as said, my personal schedule starts on Monday. And also because my family is in Europe and I do a lot of things that connect with Europe pretty much everywhere else in the world starts the work week on Monday. So I am currently in the process of finding a happy medium, finding a set of planner pages that start on Mondays, and see if I like that better. This does include my Franklin Covey pages do not start on Monday, and that's going to be an issue for me now that I've decided I prefer the Monday start. So that was one thing. The other thing was the setup. It is a very typical setup with the month, weeks, days. Perfect, wonderful, great. But for those of you who watched my video on my planner fail with rearranging my Franklin Covey, that was one of the things that bothered me when I rearranged the Franklin Covey, was that I arranged it that way, months and then the days, and I don't have weekly pages for the Franklin Covey, but I was considering, I was telling myself, it would be nice to have a week at a glance that I could look at. And the problem that I personally have with the setup is that I don't like how they're blocked. I need everything in a purely chronological order. So I have the month at the beginning, and then show me the week, and then those days, and then the next week, and then those days. That is the reason why, you remember those blank pages for the goal setting? I didn't use those goal setting pages, and I didn't use the spreads at the back of the planner because I just simply forgot they were there. I work chronologically. I am on this page today, here's the page, this is what I need to do, and I don't think of, oh, let me look at this part of the planner or that part of the planner. So I think if, for example, the new moon spread had corresponded to the day of the planner that had the new moon, then I probably would have done it. Same with the full moon and llamas. But as it was, I just simply forgot they were there, so I didn't use them. Anything else? Chronologically, blah, 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 my notes. Prefer a Monday start. There was something else. Oh, the note space for some of the pages, specifically the new and full moon spreads, seemed to have a really large amount of note space. And so, for example, here's the new moon. Hopefully you can see that. And there's a lot of blank space here to write about it, and it's just a simple 3-card spread. Now I understand a 3-card spread can be detailed, but to me this seemed like an inordinate amount of space. So, and then you can see how that worked out for me with the full moon spread, which I did. I used very little of this space. In contrast to that, the llama spread, or the monthly spread at the beginning, there's next to no space on here to write notes. I mean, granted, this one came at the very end of the planner, so technically this last page, that was notes page, I could use this for taking notes on the spread. But it seemed to me that there was a little bit of a disconnect between the size of the spread and the amount of space given for notes. But again, I can't really fault the planner for that because each person is individual and each reader is going to use a different amount of space for their reading. So it is what it is in that case. But that was one thing that was a little bit difficult for me. Okay, that said, again, overall, I really, really enjoyed and loved using this planner for the month. I am back home, so I'm back with my beloved Franklin Covey, and I am kind of searching for the best system for me still. So I will not discount this planner, but I'm not going to use it again for a little bit just because I want to try something else. Specifically, I am testing out the DIY fish inserts because given that they're not American, they do start on Monday, and they do have that chronological aspect that I was hoping for with the month, week, day setup. So I'm trying that out for this month, the month of August, and I will be back later to tell you whether or not I liked it, and hopefully then how I'm going to create some sort of a system for myself, because the one thing I know I'm going to miss is being able to incorporate these tarot spreads. I really enjoyed that, especially the goal planning spread for the week. Loved it. All right, thanks very much for joining me, and talk to you later. Bye.